Published 1922 EDT, the 29th of October 2017. Updated 0611 EDT, the 30th of October 2017. A Labour MP has been accused of snobbery after saying it was the better educated people who voted to stay in the EU. Barry Sheerm said you can actually see the pattern. Nearly all the university towns voted Remain. Mr. Sheerm is the MP for Huddersfield in the borough of Kirklees, which voted Leave in the referendum last year. Tory MP for Pudsey Stuart Andrew described the remarks as snobbery. Labour MP Barry Sheerm has been accused of snobbery after saying it was the better educated people who voted to stay in the EU. Sheerm made the comment during a discussion of the letter sent last week to universities by Tory MP Chris Heaton-Harris asking for the names of professors teaching courses involving Brexit. The Labour MP claimed that Mr. Heaton-Harris was indulging in McCarthyite sort of tactics. In response, Mr. Andrew described sending the letter as probably not the best thing to do, but denied that it had been an attempt to intimidate lecturers. He said Mr. Heaton-Harris was genuinely trying to find out what was being discussed in our universities. Mr. Sheerm, speaking on the BBC's Sunday Politics programme, claimed the letter was an attempt to frighten campuses. This man who went to Wolverhampton Polytechnic, who does he think he is trying to frighten my university in Huddersfield, said Mr. Sheerm. Conservative MP for Pudsey Stuart Andrew. The truth is that when you look at who voted to Remain, most of them were the better educated people in our country. Mr. Andrew said, I am astounded by this snobbery. The fact that Chris went to some Polytechnic is some problem. Yesterday Mr. Sheerm tweeted, pleased that my comments on link between Brexit support and lower educational attainment has stimulated debate. He added, crystal clear Tory party no longer the nasty party. Brexit has transformed it into the stupid party. Polls have shown that more than 8 in 10 university staff supported the Remain side in last year's referendum. It has led to claims that some higher education institutions are biased against Brexit. Mr. Sheerman's comments provoked a storm of controversy, according to the Huddersfield Daily Examiner. Michael Taylor tweeted, I wonder how many of the people Mr. Sheerm is supposed to represent are outraged by his moronic remarks. Brussels has signed off a controversial new plan to appoint its own finance supremo, with the power to intervene in the domestic budgets of member states. Jean-Claude Juncker's European Commission has approved a new agenda for a more united and stronger Europe with their own Chancellor of the Exchequer, amid fears that the plan will go even further towards creating an EU superstate. A document sets out how he or she would have powers to make structural reforms to budgets within the bloc. The decision was greeted by Brexiteers as vindication for the UK's Leave vote. Pro-Brexit Conservative MP Jacob Rees-Mogg said, this is what many of us thought was the plan all along. Now we have the evidence. UKIP MEP Nathan Gill said, we got out in the nick of time. He added these sweeping new developments, including the EU creating its own chancellor as well as pushing ahead with plans for a continent-wide army, prove Brussels is hurtling at breakneck speed towards becoming a superstate. The Commission agreed last week to build on what it described as the current momentum of confidence to accelerate integration by tabling the reforms in the European Parliament. They could be completed by the time of Brexit in March 2019. The paper, entitled The Future of Europe, calls for a banking union, an EU army by 2025, a cybersecurity agency and expansion to include Serbia and Montenegro.